Oh my goodness, April Henry is one of the greatest mystery writers of all times. I have read all of these books except for a couple, and so I will try to go through them very quickly. I don't want to make this a super long book talk, but I will tell you that if you read one April Henry book and like it, you should read all of them. She is a fabulous author. Girl Stolen is probably her most popular one. I think it was her first one that became really popular. Cheyenne is blind. She's waiting in the car because she's sick, and her mother, I think her stepmom, goes into the store to get her medicine. While her stepmom is in the car, she is laying on the floor, I believe, because she's not feeling well. Someone gets in the car and takes it. It's Griffin, and he's a car thief. He steals cars to take the parts apart and then sell them, and he has no idea there is a girl in the back seat. So when he gets her to his father's place, his father's kind of the ringleader of the car stealing, and when he gets her there, he realizes that when he gets the car there, he realizes there's a girl in the back seat, but he can't take her back or else he's going to get arrested. So they keep the girl kidnapped, and they realize she's blind, and she has to use all her senses to figure out how to escape. Her dad, I think, is a Nike. He's a bigwig of some sort. I think he owns Nike or something, but so he is on the other end trying to find Cheyenne. Count All Her Bones is actually a sequel to Girl Stolen. Griffin, who I said was the kidnapper in the beginning, or the car stealer turned into be kidnapping, he actually is almost Cheyenne's age. And during the time in Girl Stolen where she's being kidnapped, they kind of become friends. And so, because he tries to be as nice as he can, as nice as a kidnapper can be, but in Count All Her Bones, Cheyenne is reaching out to Griffin, trying to connect back up with him, and she gets kidnapped again. So, and it is, I think, equally as good, except we've got Griffin in the mix there with Count All Her Bones. I would say Body in the Woods is probably my least favorite April Henry book, but a lot of people do like it. It's a group of teenagers who are practicing. They are in a group where they get to help the police with some minor crimes, and in the middle, they're actually trying to find an autistic man is what their job is to do, and when they do that, they stumble across a body in the woods. This next one is one I have not read, Blood Will Tell, but it is a sequel to Body in the Woods. Shock Point, a girl named April gets kidnapped from all of April Henry books. Someone gets kidnapped. Someone comes in her room and is taking her out with their hand over her mouth, and so she's being kidnapped, she believes, and she is hoping that her mom and stepdad will hurry and see what's going on as they're dragging her out to the van. She looks over and sees her mom. She's excited because she thinks her mom's going to help her, but then she notices her mom has in her hand two things. She has a suitcase, and she has a pamphlet, and she says, she says, and I think I told you her name was April, and I'm actually not sure that it is April. But anyway, she says, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. This is going to be the best place for you. Well, so she realizes that her mom and her stepdad are sending her away to some place. What she finds out later is they, quote unquote, found drugs in her room, which she knows that her stepdad must have planted them there. And then every other chapter takes place with the kidnapping scene, and then her going off to be taken to this place. And then the other one flashes back 3 days earlier with her finding out a secret about her stepdad, that he has done something illegal and dangerous. And so throughout the whole book, it flip-flops back and forth, and to a shocking ending. The Girl I Used to Be is probably my very favorite April Henry book. It is a book about Olivia Reinhardt, whose parents were killed when she was, well, actually, her mother was killed, they think, by her father when she was 3 years old. The only thing she knows is that she was dropped off at a Walmart by the killer and left to be on her own. She ended up being raised by her grandmother and then put into foster care, where she was given the name Olivia. She was born Ariel Bronson, or Branson, or something like that. The book starts out with a knock at the door, someone saying, and it's the police saying, Ariel Bronson, we'd like to speak to you. And what they're telling her is that they found her dad's remains, and they found out that he had been killed the same day that her mom. So when Ariel and her whole entire, everybody in her family in town thought that her dad killed her mom and dropped Ariel off at the Walmart, what she now knows is that someone killed both of her parents and dropped her off at the Walmart. So she takes her name that she's been given as a foster child of Olivia, goes back to her old town, and tries to track down her killer. One of the people she runs into first is a boy named Duncan, who recognizes her from when they were little and played together, and soon he will end up helping her. I'm going to go a little bit faster because I spent too long on this. Night She Disappeared is a book about a girl who is a pizza delivery person, and she gets kidnapped when she's delivering pizzas. The Lonely Dead is a book about a girl who can see dead people, and one of the dead people that she sees is someone who used to be friends with her, but they've been fighting the last few years, and just a few nights ago they got in a fight at a party. They were both drinking. Well, the one girl ended up dead, and so this girl that can see her is trying to help her find her killer. Girl Who Was Supposed to Die is a book about a girl who wakes up and doesn't know where she is, doesn't remember anything. She ends up going to, well, she sees a picture, and in the picture is her along with a family, and so she realizes this must be her family. Her fingernails have been pulled out, she's been tortured, and nobody is around, and so she runs away, takes the picture, finds a police officer to help her, tries to tell her story. In the meantime, she hears the police officer getting a phone call. The person on the other end is saying, there's a girl running and she has escaped from a mental institution, and please, she's dangerous. Well, come to find out, the person who made the call is the kidnapper, or the kidnappers who are out to get her. So she has to get smart and tricky and break free from the police officer, and she does, and there's she's on the run and meets some people who will help her. And again, another very shocking ending. Run, Hide, Fight Back is a girl, Miranda, along with some other people who are in the mall, in a mall, and they are held hostage. There is a mall active shooter, and so they are hiding together, and each one of them has their own secret. This one I have not read. It's called The Girl in the White Van, and it is April Henry's newest book, and I'm going to click on it real quickly. When Savannah disappears soon after arguing with her mom's boyfriend, everyone assumes she's run away. The truth is much worse. She's been kidnapped by a man in a white van who locks her in an old trailer home. far from prying eyes, and worse yet, Savannah's not alone. 10 months earlier, Ginny met the same fate and nearly died trying to escape. Now, as the two girls wonder if he will hold them captive forever or kill them, they must join forces to break out, even if it means they die trying. Those are April Henry books.